Have you ever been locked out of a hotel room your own family was staying in while they laughed on the other side of the door? Because I have. And let me tell you, when that latch clicked shut, it didn't sound like a mistake. It sounded deliberate, final, mean. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. I was standing in a polished hallway at the Lakeview Grand with 2 suitcases, cutting into my fingers, my purse slipping off my shoulder, and my son, my daughter-in-law, and my granddaughter all inside the suite I had paid for. I could hear their voices through the door, muffled, amused, comfortable, not worried about me at all. My name is Calpurnia Hale, and I was 68 years old that summer, old enough to know the difference between being forgotten and being humiliated on purpose. That's the part people don't talk about, is it? At a certain age, everyone expects you to smile through disrespect, to act confused, to absorb it quietly so nobody else has to feel uncomfortable. I knocked once, calmly. "Ronan," I said, "open the door." My son laughed under his breath, like I was interrupting something trivial. Then Delise, his wife, said, loud enough for me to hear, "She'll be fine. Let her wait." Let her wait. I stood there for a full second, maybe 2, staring at the gold numbers on that hotel door as if they might rearrange themselves into an explanation. My granddaughter, Marit, giggled. Not loudly, not cruelly maybe, but she giggled. And somehow that stung worst of all. A housekeeper rolled her cart past me and then slowed down. She looked at me, then at the closed door, then quickly away. That tiny glance said everything. She knew. Strangers always know. I should have felt embarrassed. Instead, I felt something colder, clearer, because here's what they didn't know. I wasn't there on their invitation. I wasn't staying in a room they had booked. I wasn't depending on their kindness, or their money, or their permission. I had paid for the entire floor, every room, every key card, every luxury they were enjoying while I stood outside that door with my luggage in hand. It all traced back to one name. Mine. I adjusted my grip on my bags, turned away from the suite, and started walking toward the stairwell, while their laughter still floated behind me. And just before I pushed the door open, my phone buzzed in my purse. I pulled it out. It was a message from the hotel, and the moment I read it, I knew exactly what I was going to do next. They thought this trip was their idea. That's how it started, not in that hallway, not with that locked door. No, this began weeks earlier in my own kitchen, with sunlight coming through the window and my son pretending to care. "Lakeview Grand, Mom," Ronan said, pacing like he was pitching something important. "It'll be good for you. Fresh air, nice views. We all chip in, spend time together." We all chip in. That phrase stuck with me. Delise leaned against the counter, arms crossed, watching me like she already knew my answer. "You've been alone too much," she added. "This is healthy." Healthy. Marit sat at the table, scrolling her phone, then glanced up with a quick smile. "Please, Nana, it'll be fun." Fun. 3 different words. Same pressure. I didn't answer right away. I just watched them. Have you ever done that? Really watched people when they're trying to convince you of something? You start noticing things. The way Ronan wouldn't quite meet my eyes. The way Delise spoke for both of them. The way Marit's smile faded the second I didn't respond immediately. "I'll think about it," I said. That should have been enough. It wasn't. That night I sat alone at my desk with my laptop open. The house was quiet, too quiet, the kind of quiet that makes you replay conversations over and over until the truth starts to settle in. They didn't want me there. They wanted what I could provide. So I went to the hotel website, and I didn't book one room, I booked 14. An entire floor, every suite, every standard room, every connecting door, paid in full, under my name, no shared accounts, no split payments, just me. Why? Because I wanted to see what would happen when control shifted, and they didn't realize it. Fast forward to check-in day, the lobby smelled like polished wood and expensive perfume. Ronan walked ahead confidently, rolling his suitcase like he owned the place. "Reservation under Hale," he told the receptionist. She paused. That was the first crack. "Isa, multiple reservations under that name," she said carefully. Ronan blinked. "Multiple?" That's when I stepped forward. "They're all mine." Silence. You could feel the shift, subtle but immediate. "Oh, Mom, you didn't have to do that." Ronan laughed, but it sounded off. Tight. "I wanted to," I said. Delise's eyes narrowed for just a second. She understood something in that moment. Not everything, but enough to be uncomfortable. Marit looked between us. "Wait, all of them?" I nodded. "I prefer space, simple, clean, unarguable." But later, outside the suite, I heard the truth anyway. "She's showing off," Delise whispered. Ronan sighed. "Just let her. It's probably all her savings." I stood there, just out of sight, listening. And I didn't say a word, because by then it was already set in motion. Now back to that hallway, that locked door, that laughter. I reached the stairwell slowly, my hand resting on the metal bar. And inside my bag was every confirmation, every receipt, every bit of proof that none of them had any idea what they'd just done. I pushed the door open and started walking down toward the front desk, where things were about to change. They expected me to feel small, but I didn't. I stepped out of the stairwell and into the lobby like I had all the time in the world. No rush, no hesitation, just quiet certainty. Have you ever seen someone walk into a room and realize, too late, that they're not the one in control? That's what this was about to become. The Lakeview Grand Lobby was calm. Soft piano music, low conversations, people sipping drinks like nothing in the world could go wrong. Meanwhile, upstairs, everything was seconds away from unraveling. I approached the front desk, my suitcase wheels barely making a sound against the polished floor. The receptionist from earlier, Elias Mercer, neat suit, sharp posture, looked up and immediately recognized me. "Ms. Hale," he said, polite but alert. "Is everything satisfactory?" That word again. Satisfactory. I placed my folder on the counter, opened it slowly, deliberately. "No," I said. You could feel the shift instantly. "I'm sorry to hear that," Elias replied, straightening slightly. "What seems to be the issue?" I slid the top page toward him. My name, 14 rooms, full payment. "I'd like to cancel all remaining reservations under my name." He froze. Not dramatically, just enough. A flicker in his eyes, a pause in his breath. "All 14 rooms?" he asked. "Yes. Now let me ask you something. What would you expect him to do? Argue, question me, refuse?" He didn't, but he hesitated. "There are cancellation policies," he said carefully. "Fees may apply." "I'm aware." My voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. "Proceed." Another pause. "May I ask," he said, lowering his voice slightly, "is there an issue with the other guests?" I looked at him. "They're not my guests." That was the moment it clicked for him. No drama, no raised voices, just understanding. He nodded once and turned to his computer. And upstairs, that's when it started. A faint click in the hallway, then another. Inside the suite, Ronan was sprawled on the couch, scrolling his phone like nothing in the world could touch him. Delise was pouring herself a glass of wine. Marit was half watching television. Then the lights flickered, just once. Delise frowned. "Did you see that?" Back downstairs, Elias's fingers moved across the keyboard. "Once I finalize this," he said, "all keycards linked to the reservation will deactivate immediately." "Good," I replied. My phone started vibrating in my hand. I didn't answer it. Upstairs, Ronan stood up, frowning, and walked to the door. He pulled it open, or tried to. The lock blinked red. He tried again. Nothing. "What the—" Downstairs, Elias paused just before the final confirmation. "Ms. Hale, are you absolutely sure you want to proceed?" That question hung in the air. Upstairs, the hallway lights dimmed. Doors along the corridor began unlocking automatically. Guests started stepping out, confused, annoyed, voices rising. "What's going on?" "My key isn't working." Ronan stepped into the hallway now, irritation turning into something sharper. Downstairs, I finally looked at my phone. Ronan was calling. Of course he was. I let it ring once, twice. Then I answered. I didn't speak first. And the second I lifted the phone to my ear, I heard it. His voice. Tight. Panicked. "Mom." The moment his voice changed, I knew it had finally landed. Not anger, not irritation, fear. "Mom," Ronan said again, quieter this time, like the word itself might fix something. I turned slightly away from the front desk, my eyes drifting toward the elevators. The lobby was still calm, still polished, still pretending nothing unusual was happening. But upstairs, that illusion was gone. I corrected a misunderstanding, I told him. A pause. "What did you do?" he asked, sharper now. Upstairs, I could already picture it without seeing it. The hallway filling with confused guests, doors opening, lights flickering back and forth as the system reset, staff rushing in, trying to contain something that wasn't supposed to happen. Delise's voice cut through in the background of the call. "Ronan, what is going on?" Fix it. Fix it." He stepped away from her. I could tell by the muffled shift in sound. "Mom, our keys aren't working. The lights. People are coming out into the hall. Did you call the front desk?" I let that sit for a second. Then I answered plainly. "I cancelled the reservation." Silence. Not disbelief, something heavier than that. The kind of silence that comes when the truth fits too perfectly to deny. "You, what?" he said. "I cancelled it," I repeated. All of it. Behind him, voices grew louder. A hotel staff member. "Sir, I'm very sorry, but these rooms are no longer active under your party." "What do you mean no longer active?" Ronan snapped, his composure cracking. Delise grabbed the phone from him. I could hear the shift instantly. "This is ridiculous," she said, her tone sharp, controlled, but slipping. You can't just cancel everything while we're here." "I can," I replied, and then softer. "I did." That landed harder than anything else. Upstairs, Marit's voice came through faintly. "Did Nana do this?" No one answered her, because now they knew. Back at the front desk, Elias finished typing and exhaled quietly. "It's done," he said, sliding a printed statement toward me. I didn't look at it. On the phone, Ronan's tone changed again. Less force, more desperation. "Mom, stop this. We're already here. We didn't do anything that bad." Didn't do anything that bad. I finally closed my eyes for a brief second. "Didn't you?" I asked. That question didn't need volume. It carried everything. Another silence, then softer, quieter than before. "Please." That word lingered. Not respect. Not accountability. Just need. I opened my eyes and looked at my reflection in the polished metal of the elevator doors. For a moment I saw myself the way they probably did. Old, quiet, easy to overlook. And then I saw something else, someone they had completely misjudged. "I've already made my decision," I said, and before he could respond, I ended the call. Clean. Final. Behind me, the elevator doors slid open with a soft chime. Elias spoke gently. "Would you like me to arrange a new room for you, Miss Hale?" I stepped inside, pulling my suitcase in after me. "Yes," I said. "Just one." The doors began to close, and just before they sealed shut, I caught one last glimpse of the calm lobby, untouched by the chaos I had set in motion upstairs. Then the doors clicked shut, and the elevator started to rise. The elevator ride was quiet. No voices. No laughter. No one calling my name through a door I couldn't open. Just the soft hum of machinery and my own reflection staring back at me, steady, composed, unchanged on the surface. But something underneath had finally shifted. When the doors opened, it wasn't onto the grand floor I had originally booked. This one was simpler, smaller, a standard level, neutral carpets, quieter lighting, fewer people passing through. One room, one key. That was all I needed. Logical payoff. Let's make one thing clear. Nothing that happened upstairs was an accident. Every room on that floor had been booked under my name alone. I hadn't split payments. I hadn't listed additional authorized guests. The hotel's system was simple. The person who pays controls the reservation. Ronan assumed the booking was shared. Delise assumed control came naturally. Marit followed their lead. But legally, contractually, and practically, they had no authority. So when I told Elias to cancel everything, the system responded exactly as it was designed to. Keycards deactivated, room access revoked, floor permissions reset, no exceptions, no loopholes, just facts, emotional payoff. Inside my new room I set my bags down slowly. The silence hit differently here, not empty, peaceful. I sat on the edge of the bed and let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding for years, not just from that night, but from every small moment that led to it. Every time I was spoken over, every time I was included, but not respected. There was no victory smile, no triumph, just relief. A quiet, steady kind of release. My phone lit up within minutes. Missed calls stacked one after another. Ronan, over and over. Delise tried too, fewer times, but more urgently. Marit called twice, then stopped. A voicemail came through. I listened. "We had to leave," Ronan said, his voice tight, strained. "They couldn't do anything. We had to book somewhere else, last minute. It's expensive, Mum. This didn't have to happen." But it did, because of their choices. That night, they checked into a lower-rated hotel across town. Smaller rooms, no suites, no view worth mentioning. The cost, higher than what they would have paid if they'd planned it themselves. Delise didn't speak much according to what I later heard. Ronan grew quieter, and Marit, the next morning I received a message from her. Not defensive, not dismissive, just one line. Can we talk when you're back? At the Lakeview Grand, the staff logged the incident formally. Elias noted everything clearly. Primary guest exercised full contractual authority. No policy violations. There were no repercussions for me because I had done nothing wrong. Final resolution moment. I stayed 2 more days, alone. I had breakfast when I wanted, walked by the lake, sat in silence without feeling ignored. No one decided anything for me. When I checked out, Elias gave a small, respectful nod. Will you be returning, Miss Hale? I considered the question. Then I answered honestly, yes. Not because of the hotel, because of what I had taken back. Outside, the morning air was crisp, clean, uncomplicated. No one was waiting for me. No one was expecting anything. And for the first time in a long while, that felt exactly right. I walked forward, unhurried, had my phone quiet in my purse, and this time I didn't feel left behind. I felt free.